everybody, welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm coming at you with a quick video. Today we're going to be doing an unboxing on the K-Bar BK-2. This knife is one of the best knives for the money that you can buy. I used to have one of these a while back. One of my good friends came over. He fell in love with it. He used it a few times and he kind of ran off with it. So anyway, I gave him the knife and I had to replace it. So today I figured, well, why not? Let's do an unboxing. For those of you who don't understand about K-Bar, let me just tell you, K-Bar is one of the best manufacturers of knives that the Naval Special Warfare community likes to use. It's a great knife. You know, it's one of those knives that you really rely on, and it doesn't let you down. In the 1980s, there was a gentleman named Becker, and he had the Becker knife company, the BK knife company. Okay, so you see where it says BK and K-Bar. What they've done is they've kind of joined forces, if you will, and K-Bar actually manufactured, I think it was 5 of Mr. Becker's top selling knives, and the BK-2 was one of them. This the actual name of it is BK-2 Companion, if you can see there. And this is a great knife for those of you who are going to be wanting to have a solid knife around camp. Maybe you might like to be cutting down, you know, pretty good sized wood, or you like to kind of be a little bit abusive with your knife and you don't want it to break down on you. This is a really solid knife. Some of the things that I like to use with mine was I like to baton a lot of wood at camp and cut, split, and make kindling and all kinds of things. It's just a beautiful knife and it's great for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and tear this thing open and we'll take a look and see what's inside. So this piece just slides off and you have a box inside. So there it is. Inside the box you have your knife. I'm going to set that aside. We'll talk about this in a second, this knife here. The other thing that you have is and I've already opened it, but you have a sheath. There's a sheath. And last but not least, you have a small booklet of information. This information just talks a little bit about K-Bar, talks about their history, it talks about the lifetime warranty on the blade, things of that nature. Gives you their address to their, if you need to contact K-Bar. It's just a good little pamphlet that comes with it. Shows a little bit of stuff. But yeah, K-Bar was a very, very reputable knife. So the BK-2, okay, let's, but before we get to that, I know I just said that, let's talk about this sheath a little bit. This sheath is a very good design, at least from this part down. I don't really particularly care for this upper part. I think it's a little flimsy. It's like they had a good thing going and then they kind of wanted to finish it up, so they just put a little piece of webbing on it. It does work, it works good, but it's not, I mean, I think they could have done a little bit more. I mean, they've riveted, a little buckle in here. There's one rivet and a little push button that holds the knife in place. It works. One thing that I do like though is, on a positive note, there's all these little holes here and these little cutouts. These are nice because you could put paracord through here. You have some of these slided slots so that you can run webbing through there. And another thing that I liked was these 4 screws. You can take these 4 screws out and you could switch this back piece here to the other side, so you can make it for a right-handed user or a left-handed user in either case. That was kind of nice. This sheath, oh man, I hate to say this because I'm not knocking K-Bar or Becker, but it's glass filled with nylon up here, and it does 2 things really. It keeps the blade sharp because it doesn't have things that it can come in contact with, and it also protects it, keeps it safe so you're not cutting things. The knife is made in America. The sheath was made in either China or Taiwan. I'm not sure, because they had a couple different places that made these. I think this was actually made in Taiwan. Don't quote me on that, but anyway, Another downside to this sheath is it's very loud when you insert the knife. So if you're a hunter or something out there sneaking around the woods and you put your knife away, it's going to make a loud sound and it might scare off the game. But for the most part, it's good. But the real quality is in this blade. This is the Becker BK-2 K-bar. It's a very nice blade. The first thing that you think, or that I thought anyway, when I pulled this out, when I first put it in my hand, is I thought, wow, you know, I've got something in my hand. You know, it doesn't give a feeling of any way, you know, it doesn't give you any kind of feeling of this thing is inferior, it's weak, nothing like that. This thing weighs almost a pound. It's a solid tang construction, so you have approximately 5.5 inches of blade here, and the overall length of the knife is around 10.5 inches or so. It's made out of 1095 Crovan carbon steel. It's a very good material. It's powder coated to protect the steel. One downside to that 1095 Crovan is it is not stainless steel, and what could happen is you could, if you don't keep mineral oil on here, this could oxidize and rust up on you. But I like to use my knife a lot to cut meat, so I don't use mineral oil as a lot of people do. I use vegetable oil, I'll use animal fat, I use lard, things of that nature, because I'm going to be cutting meat with this knife and I don't want mineral oil in my meat. Again, about a 5.5 inch blade, 1/4 inch thick, full tang. It's got a drop point edge on it, real nice little drop point. It's a very heavy duty knife. The retail on this is about $123 and some change. However, you can find it online between $60 and $80. I believe I paid around $72 for this one, and it's a good deal for what you get. It's a good knife. It's very well balanced. If you kind of look at the balancing, you want to kind of balance that baby and see where she likes to balance. It's a little bit nose heavy. About right there or so. We're getting close. It's very fine. The only downside that I saw to the one that I had was, even though these grips are very comfortable and they're very solid feeling, this is like a Zytel type material, hard plastic, right? But when they get wet, they get kind of slick, and I always kind of had a feeling that I might drop the knife or something when I was in a wet environment. I'm talking really wet. But what I ended up doing was I ended up taking my Dremel tool and I cut grooves in here, like a, you know, a nice little pattern, and it would let that water fade away, and it actually improved the grip tremendously. You didn't have that feeling anymore. There's a hole in the back where you could lash, you know, you could put some paracord and have like a little loop down here or something. It has a bottom tang down here. Part of the knife blade itself actually comes all the way down, and it has this down here, and this is good for pummeling things. It's actually designed like if you were to have to break out of a vehicle and break glass or something. I use it to smash up tinder at camp, or sometimes I'll use it as a hammer. You can break rocks with it, break all kinds of stuff. It works really good. But this is the Becker BK K-bar BK-2. Good knife. It's well worth the money. It's a very solid knife. It's one of these kind of knives. You know, I used to have Gerbers and I've had Bucks, and I have nothing against Buck or Gerber. They're both great. But I've had some problems because I really use the hell out of my knives. I'm pretty rough on them, so I needed something really solid that I don't have to worry about. You know, I like to baton a lot of wood, and you know, I just need that solid feel. You know, you definitely feel like you can do something with this. Batoning wood is a breeze. I'm going to actually go out and do a kind of a review out there. I'm going to show you some cutting, and I'm going to beat the hell out of this thing. So stay tuned for that. It'll be coming in the future. But anyway, it's a great knife for the money. Let me talk about that sheath again and how this knife fits in that sheath. You know, I mentioned earlier that that it holds it very securely, and it does. But listen, I'll be quiet for a minute and listen when I put this in. Hear how loud that was? There's a place here where you can put your thumb to kind of push off of to get the blade out. It's a little bit difficult because this thing, not only is it brand new, but it holds that blade tight. Hear that noise? Now watch this. I'll show you this angle. Watch this case right here. These two parts. Watch what happens when I push that blade. You'll see it separate. See that? Then when it clicks in, it comes back together. Now this is actually good because you have these holes where you could actually hang it around yourself. If you had some paracord, you could hang it crossbody or something like that, and you could get the knife out. So if you're, like I mentioned earlier, if you're out thinking that you're going to be hunting with this thing, and you go to put your knife away, you might scare every animal in the woods. But this knife is definitely not going to let you down. It's a very sharp blade out of the box too, from the factory. It's a 20-degree edge angle. It's got a good edge on it. It's a good quality product. So anyway, again, this is the Becker BK-2, Ethan Becker, K-Bar manufacturing company. Again, it's a beautiful knife, very solid. It's one of those knives that you get the feeling of, I can do anything with this thing. It's not going to break. I mean, with the one that I used to have, I used to baton wood. I used to use it like an axe, hatchet, cut kindling and cut logs, and I mean, I beat the hell out of it, and it never let me down ever. Cold outside, hot outside, doesn't matter. Underwater, it doesn't matter. This is a great knife. Holds an edge well, so I can't say enough good things about it. The only thing, again, though, that was a downside to me was the sheath. It was kind of flimsy and kind of flops around and stuff like that. I didn't really care for that too much. But, there's things that you can do to improve this. You can get, another thing that you could do is you could get aftermarket handles. There's some Allen screws here that hold this handle on, and you can take those Allen screws out and you can get aftermarket handles. So if you don't like this grip that comes with it from the factory, which, like I said earlier, it could be changed, it could be improved on, but you can buy aftermarket handles. I think they're made out of micarta, about $40 or so. So anyway, without being too long-winded, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this review, or excuse me, this unboxing. I want to say thank you for watching. Thank you for taking the time to check out my video. I hope that you found some useful information here. Feel free to comment, feel free to subscribe, like, share, thumbs up, message me, send me an email, whatever you need to do. And as always, have a beautiful day. Now go out there and get yourself a BK-2. Thanks everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.